headlines. Governor Tambuwal imposes terrorist release pregnant passenger abducted in Kaduna Abuja train attack. Vice President Oshibajo woos delegates in Jigawa not received by state governor. Somalia holds presidential election, announced curfew in Mogadishu. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Zainab Bala. Hello and a warm welcome. The Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has declared a 24-hour curfew to curtail tension by protesting residents demanding the release of the two persons involved in the killing of Deborah Samuel over alleged blasphemy. This is coming shortly after some residents who took to the streets in protest burned tires and stoned the palace of Sultan of Sokoto's Arab Abubakar III for condemning the killing of Deborah. Nana Mohammed has the details of this report.
There was tension in some parts of Sokoto State due to protests over the arrest of suspects involved in killing of Deborah Samuel, a student of Shehu Shagari College of Education Sokoto, by her schoolmates. The angry protesters, including young men and women, stormed the palace of the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, and the state government house, calling for the release of the two suspected killers of Deborah Samuel. They stormed the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar's palace for joining President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osibajo, and Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto in condemning the killing and calling for the arrest of the suspected killers of Deborah. To contain the situation in the state, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal declared a 24-hour curfew.
I hereby declare curfew within the metropolis of Sokoto Township for the next 24 hours. I appeal to the good people of Sokoto State to kindly continue to observe law and order and calm down the restiveness that is currently pervading in the metropolis, and that everyone should please, in the interest of peace, go back home and observe these measures with the view of establishment of peace, law and order in the state.
Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government has banned protests related to religious activity throughout the state with immediate effect. A statement by the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs said the ban followed intelligence that some people are planning to organize a series of for and against protests related to a security development in one of the northern Nigerian states. The statement noted that Governor Nasir El-Rufai, after a security briefing on the development, charged security agencies to ensure strict enforcement of the ban against any form of religious protest in the state. The governor also called on religious, community and traditional rulers in the state to complement the efforts of government and security agencies towards the maintenance of peace and stability in the state by prevailing on their subjects to toe the path of peace. Now, suspected terrorists who bombed the Abuja-Kaduna train and abducted scores have released a pregnant passenger. In a video released by the abductors, the freed woman is heard calling on the federal government to negotiate with the terrorists to save the lives of others who are still in captivity. Security sources said no ransom was paid to secure her release and dismissed media reports that one woman had given birth in the den of the terrorists.
I am one of the passengers abducted some days back. They kidnapped us and took us into the bush without stating their reasons. They look at situations of captives like me, who is heavily pregnant and whose prolonged stay may pose danger to my health, and decided to release me. I am calling on the government to have mercy on these people, the way they have mercy on us. Government should consider the plight of people in captivity, to sit with them and listen to their demands. Government should negotiate with them peacefully and accept their demands so that those who are still with them can be released and reunited with their families and loved ones.
Moving on, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Saturday stormed Dutse, the Jigawa State capital, as part of ongoing consultations with delegates of the ruling All Progressive Congress ahead of the forthcoming primaries of the party. The VP, who arrived the state at 3 p.m. aboard presidential aircraft, was met by officials of the state chapter of the party. However, neither Governor Mohammed Badaru Abubakar of the state nor his deputy, Umar Namadi, was on ground to receive the vice president. Badaru was represented by the secretary to the state government, Abdulkadir Fanini. National leader of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, says he remains the best of all the aspirants for the nation's presidency. Tinubu said this when he met with delegates in Niger State ahead of the party's presidential primaries. Tinubu said unlike the other aspirants, he was produced many other leaders who are doing well on their own. He said he will replicate the development strides witnessed in Lagos if he becomes the nation's #1 man.
That is the only person you should follow. Is the person who knows the road to your destination, prosperity, happiness, and good health. You follow me. I always lead you. They don't have my brain. They're tired. Every day, in nowhere, I go back, I do Kawa, in nowhere.
The All Progressive Congress, APC in Kano State, has been hit by a wave of defections as political activities heat up. The latest politician to dump the party is the former Chief of Staff to Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Ali Makoda, who was until Friday the Chief of Staff to Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, dumped the APC for the new Nigeria People's Party. The report.
It is not the best of times for the ruling APC in Kano State, as prominent members in its ranks defect to the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, to realize their political ambitions. Former Minority Whip in the House of Representatives and former Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Kawu Sumaila, is among those joining NNPP from the APC.
We left our party APC, which we formed in 2013, because we believe that APC breached the understanding, the underlying understanding between Nigeria and APC. We believe that we will form a party that will promote democracy, that will promote good governance. At the end, the derail from the founding principle of our party. Therefore, we decide to change.
How optimistic are you that this new party that you are in will...
We are all human. We are all human. You cannot tell what will happen tomorrow. But from the reality, I think it is the amalgamation of like minds. We have very common interest, Nigeria.
So far, 2 serving members of the House of Representatives, Chief of Staff to the governor, among several other politicians, joined NNPP, a party not well known until recently when former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso defected to it with his supporters.
National Security Advisor Major General Babagana Monguno has expressed worry over what he termed growing uncertainty over party primaries ahead of the 2023 general elections. The NSA noted the development has already culminated in intense power play, capable of heightening unnecessary political tension across the country. Monguno, who spoke at the quarterly meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security at the INEC headquarters in Abuja, said heads of security agencies have been mandated to monitor and profile political actors who are bent on subverting the electoral process. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu enjoined security agencies to expedite actions on degrading the security threat before the general elections.
Party primaries for 2023 elections. This is in addition to the unabated spate of violence that threaten the upcoming up-cycle gubernatorial elections in Ekiti and Osun states. More worrisome is the unguarded utterances of some highly respected individuals and groups, which more often than not amplifies divisive narratives to the detriment of national security and stability. Accordingly, head of security and law enforcement agencies have been tasked to step up close monitoring and profiling of political actors, no matter how highly placed, who exhibit tendencies that subvert the electoral process, even as talks and other sponsors will equally be trailed for possible arrest and prosecution.
The general security situation in the country and its impact on the electoral process is a source of concern to the Commission. However, we are confident that with 9 months to the 2023 general election, there is enough time to respond to the security challenges and secure the nation for elections to take place nationwide. The timetable for the election has been released. Let us not wait until a few weeks to the election before we realize that time is not on our side and begin to seek for extension of timelines.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up. Road users decry accidents due to dilapidation. Details of the story and more after the break to stay. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Our top stories. Sokoto State Government has imposed 24-hour restriction in Sokoto as Governor El-Rufai bans religious protests in Kaduna. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Saturday stormed Jigawa State ahead of the forthcoming primaries of the party. Moving on, the Northern Consensus Movement has expressed displeasure over the assumption that most bandit and kidnap-related offences are perpetrated by men of Fulani extraction. President of the movement, Awal Aliyu, made this known at a press briefing in Abuja to address the misconceptions often held against the Fulanis. Aliyu explained that it is unacceptable for the Fulanis to be profiled based on the misdeeds of a few bad eggs, adding that many of them have also fallen victim to the atrocities of the criminals.
Fulanis are the ones doing cattle rustling, the Fulanis are the bandits. Yes, you will have some of the Fulanis being part of this, but it's not only Fulanis that are involved in all these things. You have the Hausas, you have the all other tribes in Nigeria that are involved, a lot of arrests that are being made, you discover that where they said it's Fulani, you discover that there's not Fulani. But that is not to say that, like I said, that the Fulanis are not involved. The Fulanis themselves are being kidnapped by the bad eggs among them. So it is not every Fulani. When you have over 40 million Fulanis, and out of the 40 million, if you have about 500,000 or a million involved in this kidnappings and banditry and what have you, how can you be so unfair to about 39 million when you have maybe 1 million that are involved?
Member representing Degema Boni Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives and governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, Farah Dagogo, has been remanded in a Port Harcourt Correctional Center by a state high court. Dagogo was brought to court in police van and carried by 4 security men due to ill health. Journalists at the court premises were barred from covering the proceedings. The report.
Counsel to Farah Dagogo, Innocent Eku, who spoke to journalists earlier at the court premises, said the lawmaker was refused bail by the police.
And I am here now to tell Nigerians that the Commissioner of Police and his allies has refused to obey the order of the Federal High Court. They have arrogated to themselves power to disobey, power to refuse, power to fail to comply with the order of a competent court of jurisdiction.
Innocent called on Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba to intervene on the matter as his client was bailed by the court. Prosecution lawyer Chidi Eke told newsmen that the lawmaker was unable to take his plea and was therefore directed to be remanded in prison where he can take his treatment. Medical doctor Farah Dagogo expressed displeasure over the treatment meted to his client.
It's an occasion where the Inspector General should defend the rule of law, defend the dignity of the court, and ensure that the legacy that made us a civilized nation should not be truncated by the whim and caprices of some mighty individual.
Brought to court today to take his plea, but unfortunately they have been saying that he is sick. So they brought him in stretchers and was brought to the court in that condition. So his name was mentioned, he didn't answer and then he did not take plea because he was lying down all through the proceedings. So at the end of the day, what we did was to simply apply to the court and let him be remanded in correctional center, the custody of correctional center, and then adjourn while he will be having access to medical treatment until he is fit enough to stand the trial.
Since 2013, he has never been as ill as this. This one I do not know whether I put emotional, what else? But we are there, they are treating him at Rivers State University Teaching Hospital.
Meanwhile, a federal high court in Port Harcourt had granted bail to the lawmaker on Thursday after he has been in police custody for more than 1 week after he was arrested by the police and declared wanted by Governor Nyesom Wike. The matter was adjourned to May 16, 2022.
The Katsina-Kano Road was constructed some decades ago. Since then, it has not been rehabilitated in spite of its dilapidated nature. Motorists plying the road had their hopes raised upon commencement of rehabilitation and dualization of about 200-kilometer road sometime in 2014. The contract, which was awarded with work starting from Kano end of the road, is being supervised by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. Abdullahi Yamani takes a look at the current state of the road project and now reports.
The Katsina to Kano Road is one of the major federal roads linking Katsina with the rest of the country. This makes it an important contributor to the socio-economic development of not just the two states, but northern Nigeria as a whole. Beyond Nigeria, this road is one of the major routes to other African countries such as Niger, Algeria, Libya, Mali, and Mauritania, among others. From Tsanyawa in Kano State to Katsina, the proposed terminal point of the road, the construction firm has done little or nothing so far to complete the project. The road is very bad. See, I have a flat tire due to potholes. It is really pathetic. We will be happy if this road is completed, but unfortunately it has been abandoned. The construction firm is alleged to have abandoned the road for months now, as work has totally come to a standstill with staff out of sight at both ends of the road. Accidents along this road are daily occurrences, as several lives and property worth hundreds of millions of naira are lost to crashes. I don't know why the road project was abandoned. Some people say the construction firm had a disagreement with the government over compensation. Whatever it is, we are appealing to the federal government to come to our aid and complete the project before the expiration of the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. Road users are questioning the capacity of the contractor to deliver on the job following what they term sudden disappearance of workers, a situation they said has compounded their woes on the road.
But yet the road is not complete. There are some places which they start working and they even carry even their equipment. We don't know where they are located again.
During its public outcry on the state of the road recently, the Katsina Elders Forum threatened to report the matter to President Muhammadu Buhari if nothing is done by the construction company.
We are awaiting the minister's response because I'm sure he must have received our message. If we are giving him time, if by, say, next month we don't hear anything from him, then we'll go back to Mr. President and report him, because he's supposed to finish this job. The money is there. I don't know why Katsina Kano Road, Mr. President's state, and the minister is joking with the construction.
Observers say if by the end of the tenure of the Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government, the Katsina Kano Road is not completed, Katsina people will be left with no option than to feel abandoned and marginalized. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Crossed Television News, Katsina.
The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has called on the federal government, on the Central Bank of Nigeria rather, to establish BDC's autonomous foreign exchange trading window with a determined maximum daily limit. This, according to the association, will enable eligible BDCs to access dollars from banks, autonomous market and diaspora forex window at the prevailing market prices. This was contained in a statement issued by the BDC operators. The body spoke as the nation continues to grapple with a shortage of forex in the country. The body also conversed the creation of an automation portal to encourage the registration of undocumented and unlicensed operators for effective monitoring, identification and tracking of their transactions. And on the foreign scene, Somalia is holding its long-delayed presidential vote on Sunday, ending the complex electoral process that raised tensions in the country when the president's term expired last year without a successor in place. Authorities registered 39 presidential candidates, including incumbent Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, 2 former presidents, several top officials, and 1 woman, Fawzia Yusuf Haji Adam, a legislator who once served as Somalia's foreign minister. The vote is taking place amid heightened insecurity as the Al-Qaeda-linked armed group Al-Shabaab, which opposes the federal government, continues to stage lethal attacks in the capital and elsewhere in the Horn of African nation. And in sports, the 2022 5-Star Premier League will feature 16 teams from Abuja, Ibadan and Lagos as they compete in the 5-a-side grassroots football competition. With the draws conducted in Abuja to pitch teams together, a seminar was also organized to sensitize Nigerians on the development of grassroots football, tagged Growth and Profitability of Grassroots Football in Nigeria and Beyond. Adeni Ajishafe has the details.
Speaking at the event, Chief Operating Officer of Nationwide League One, Shola Ogunsanwo, says NLO is correcting the anomalies in the area of officiating in the third-tier league by releasing names of erring referees in the league and making sure officiating becomes better.
We have 774 local governments in Nigeria. If you have two mini stadiums and of this stadium, then it will be good enough for the grassroots football to develop more. Then we go into area of technicals where the Nigeria Football Federation is doing all it could to train coaches. These coaches are the ones that will bring out these players, bring out the best in them, identify talents. We keep appealing to them that they should please study the laws of the game very well and officiate according to the laws of the game and take away bias.
Last season's most valuable player, Marcus Adekunle of Suicide FC, received an award. Ataib Jamal of Tio FC won the top scorer with 13 goals as Henry Ndubuzi won best goalkeeper. 5-star Premier League is played by 5 players per team, tagged 5-a-side to create competitiveness and a platform for footballers to show their football skills. Managing Director of 5-star Premier League, Olumide Aturu, while appreciating the media for promoting the league, says the competition has developed to the level of getting invitation to futsal competition abroad, adding that players are joining foreign leagues from grassroots 5-star Premier League.
Grassroots, I know for sure, is the bedrock of any success story. Look at the Iheanachos, the Ndidis, that's where they started, in Mikel Obi, Okocha, Ronaldinho. So if we focus more on grassroots, there's nothing stopping the, emphatic development. Just not long ago, we got an invitation from an international world futsal body, to bring our players, all expense paid trip and everything. So these are the things these are the kind of progress that we look forward to see. And then it's happening right in front of our eyes. And I believe that.
That's Sport News. I am Adeniyi Ajisafe.
And that's it on News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. See you in a moment.